Yo guys, welcome to another Grubcast. I'm gonna be casting this best of 5 series between LYN and Colorful from a recent tournament, the Warcraft survival battle it's called. And I'm casting this from a VOD, so there will not be game sound, for if there were, then you would also hear the Korean commentary over this game. So it's just my voice, and I'm going to be casting this series. This is interesting because I've been struggling a lot against Night Elf. I hope I don't whine too much in this cast about Night Elf, but it should be pretty informative and educational as we watch this series together. And this is also an important VOD to watch as you see my games going forward that are going to be uploaded on this channel, as I will maybe draw inspiration from some of the things LYN does, whether he ends up winning or losing. Enjoy. Alright guys, here we got a game of LYN versus Colorful for the tournament called Warcraft Survival Battle. As far as I know, it's a Korean organized tournament, but it might be Chinese organized. This was the grand finals. LYN went on quite a tear, and I might be looking to get into those games later as well, the games he won before this. But this was the most impressive, because Orc versus Night Elf is something I've been struggling with. LYN had been struggling with it as well. Apparently, allegedly, he was heard complaining about Night Elf on his stream, and he had 6 wins, 22 losses against Night Elf recently in a number of tournaments, against various opponents, including Colorful. So Colorful was able to defeat him a number of times. And this best of 5 is interesting. We're gonna learn a lot of new builds here, because Colorful has his responses against everything that LYN has thrown at him before. Now, the standard meta as it exists is Blade Master, Grunt, Fast Tech. And I'm gonna probably just turn down the volume a bit. I don't think you guys have much value of hearing a little bit of Korean commentary in the background. The standard meta right now is Blade Master, Grunt, 1 Grunt, Fast Tech off of a single burrow. A lot of scouting, a lot of attempted harassment, and then teching fast to a Shadow Hunter second, Shamans, and if you're getting what you're expecting, which is mass Huntresses and Archers, you're going to be going for Grunt Shaman, armor upgrade, and counter expansion at tier 2. Now this doesn't work well for a number of reasons. They always get their expansion faster, and they have more damage output. You have to hit a very sharp timing to try and disrupt them, but if they don't make any mistakes, generally they have the advantage. And the win rates reflect that. So many different things have been attempted, including by LYN, Farseer Shadow Hunter with a timing attack, and with Grunts, Raiders and Walkers, so not with the Shamans. The Raider Walker offers a better tier 2 fighting army, but they're not usually in vogue because Walkers get their dispel much later than Shamans, and because of that, Keeper can get many free kills earlier on. The Farseer helps a bit with that. Swapping out the blade and going into the Farseer gives you summons and a ranged attack of your own, so you're slightly less reliant on using your blades and grunts, which can get entangled before they get in range. So, Farseer and Shadow, timing attacks. And he got a number of wins with that, but when I saw it, maybe even when I casted some of them, I wasn't convinced because, well, I always felt like the Night Elves left much to be desired in their responses. Either straight up bad responses because they weren't used to it, or micro mistakes that led to the Orc capitalizing and taking a win where I don't feel like it's reproducible per se. So, LYN, he's showing a bunch of new stuff here in this game so far. First of all, he's gone with the Healing Self Speed Scroll opener with the delayed barracks, and he got the Circlet from his own shop, but no dust, and then took the Arachnithid crap on the left side of the map just to get a little bit of extra XP and that stat boosting item. He's getting the other one right now, and he also picked up the Turtle 4 at the bottom, and that kept him nearby the shop, which allowed him to buy a Staff of Teleportation. He's now going to send his blade to a location where Night Elf typically fast expands. His grunts are kept safely in his base in order to not get them entangled and killed. He even used a peon earlier on rather than grunts to scout, so as to not endanger his grunts at all. It's now grunts versus just the keeper here, as treants and archers are creeping off somewhere on the map on the left side. Well, what's interesting here is that LYN actually sent 2 of his grunts into the keeper, and they could get entangled, but he was holding on to his staff, and he actually, I think he was baiting Colorful to do an entangle, only to then staff on top of his grunt with the blade, having wasted the keeper's mana, who can now not follow through because of the DPS of the blade. I thought that was kind of cute move by LYN. He also spent that time to scout for an expansion, made sure there is none, and the moment that LYN TP'd out with Staff of Teleportation, Colorful immediately made it. This also shows that Colorful is on point, and whatever result happens here, both players are playing really well with good responses. Clarity Potion in order to keep invisible scouting up. He sees the keeper coming, and he can actually use his Windwalk to go into Cloak of Shadows to remain unrevealed. His goal is to steal this Ogre Warrior. His Windwalk is gone, he's now cloaked, and now he Windwalks in the cloak, which I'm not sure it makes any sound. I think it does. Although he remains unrevealed, Colorful is unconvinced, gets his Alchemist, the standard meta, Keeper, Hunters, Archer, Alchemist. So now we are facing a great terror. Blade and Shadow Grunt into Keeper, Alchemist, Archer. This is the meta, and I have lost many games against Colorful recently, where I play standard, and he plays this. He's really good at it. Now here's the first cool thing was LYN's creep route, his scout route, his staff, his vision control, and so on. He played safe, no mistakes, didn't leave himself open, and didn't lose any units yet. That's his first good special play this game. The second one is, after he grabbed Windwalk level 1 Blade, he went Mirror Image 2 to disjoint both Acid Bomb and Entangle. Windwalk Mirror Image skill order was used briefly by Orcs, but it was dropped because it was not DPS-y enough, and because I guess we just lost faith in it, kind of. It has a lot going for it. Disjointing, Entangle, and Acid Bomb means that we can free ourselves, where otherwise we would need Dispel, and this happened before Dispel was available. And when you attack a Tree of Life that's halfway done, Critical Strike doesn't do anything anyway. Critical Strike, in fact, doesn't work against buildings, so it doesn't really impact your ability to attack trees. In fact, you're more able to get away from threats. Now as well, there can be an Entangle. He can just Mirror Image, break himself free. Colorful chooses not to make that trade. What is standard here is Hex Opener with 1 Wyvern and Shaman. The Wyvern offers map control against Huntresses, and the Hex gets you bonus kills against Hunts and Archers of an aggressive Night Elf. Which this is a very good map for aggressive Night Elf play, and therefore you kind of need the Hex. And although you won't be picking up Healing Wave, as you will go Hex, Snake, Snake, you eventually have Healing Fountains to get you that healing that you crave. So what is LYN doing throughout all this? So far, fairly standard, Grunts, Shamans, Shadow, and creeping his Shadow up to level 3. Just like Hitman showed must be done. But now he uses an illusion to pull all the creeps except the Ogre Mage, set up Snake Ward, keep the Drake away from the fountain, and starts creeping the fountain. This gives him the health, the XP, and the item that he needs to do a follow-up attack on the Night Elf base. Now, while you may expect that they attack the Night Elf expansion, it's usually better to attack the main base, because it is actually in closer proximity right now to where LYN is, and you'll take anything you can in order to expedite the greatest possible speed for an attack. So LYN hasn't cleared his expansion, neither the middle spot nor his natural. That means he can't expand while attacking, which is usually what we have seen from Orcs. They get their 44, 47, 50 foot army, they get their armor upgrades, and then they put up a Great Hall. And Great Halls take a long time to build. What Night Elves often will try to do is send a Wisp. Colorful already has one there. And with that Wisp, they try to build an Ancient Protector, which then requires a response from Orc, and it makes them unable to attack at this time. Attacking at this time is good. You can see that 44 versus 50 food means that LYN isn't too far behind yet in food. He also immediately purges 2 Treants and attacks and kills a Moonwell. This puts Colorful momentarily at 50 out of 50, even as LYN is still able to make units. LYN has an armor upgrade, and he's going to tier 3, is now revealed for the first time. And what's his goal here? Is he all in? He doesn't have an expansion. And he goes for an archer with the ensnare. I love how he does this. I have to admit, I've seen this before. I'll probably watch it again as well. He kills one archer with ensnare, one huntress with snakes. He now has the maximum amount of snakes available, 6, which shows that he really was on top of his cooldown. It's daytime, there's no hiding. He kills another archer with purge focus fire. And now puts his snakes are now on the huntress. He ensnares it, he attacks it. Armor upgrade helping a lot here. And the huntress is down. Very positive unit trade so far. There goes the archer and an infill to get away. So he killed what? 2 huntress and 2 archer or so? After supply blocking Colorful, which means Colorful will momentarily still be around 50. And LYN got to 50 himself. I'm not sure he lost any units. And here's the second purpose for staff. Not just checking for tree and then helping your grunts and shadow, but also to get to your shop more quickly. This is usually much better than backpack. A lot of people fantasize about backpack being relevant for orc, and who knows, maybe it is. But it's risky. If your units get picked off, they give the items to the opponent. It's very tedious and action intensive, and you can't immediately start using the items. And then when your units get to the battlefield, you then need to spend micro giving items to your heroes. Whereas if you just staff home, you can immediately use clarity that you are buying if you so choose. So here we have LYN sniping the rock golem. He's at 50 food right now. He gets both of the creeps, I believe. So he's actually out-leveled Colorful by quite a bit, which is really nice, but not entirely unusual per se. Though I must say it definitely doesn't happen all the time. But even when I out-leveled Colorful, I still had a hell of a time against him. So now here we have the snake pit again. Colorful. And Elf is very strong on this map because of the level 3 easily gotten for Keeper, and then the distance to the natural expansion of Colorful of Elf. It makes it hard for Orc to attack into that. But I feel like LYN has found a very nice way to play against it. I'm trying to think, is it repeatable? Also not the best item for Colorful. He's got double ring on Alchemist. Pendant of Energy, of course, is the bomb. But now we have Colorful creeping the Ogre Lord. He's supply blocked again. 2 attack upgrade and 1 armor for Colorful. He's getting the Unholy Aura, which is incredible. And there we have the Tiny Great Hole from LYN. He picks up the Tiny Great Hole, staffs to his expansion, and gets his base. That still makes his base a good, I don't know, like 5 minutes, 4 minutes later than Elf. So he's got ground to make up for. But on the other hand, he never really stopped mining a lot of lumber. The earlier you expand, the less lumber you have. So I actually really like the Tiny Great Hole, keeping your peons mining a little bit longer. You expand a bit later, but then when you expand, it immediately starts going. He's got a good amount of lumber. Makes me wonder how much peons he has had. And it's only 12, so I don't know how he got that much. Interesting, very interesting. I guess 1 peon isn't tied up making a great hole for a very long period of time. He probably hasn't gotten fortified defenses, and he hasn't built any towers there. And he never lost any units that he had to remake. Now he has the Pit Lord. He's working on Shaman Bloodlust. He's pushed Overfood as well, 62 pop. And yeah, I'll delete the sub goal for a bit so that you can see the rest when I can find it. Sorry, I don't know where it is. I have so many things. I don't see it. Jeez, I don't see it. No, sorry, I can't do it. I can't find it. I lost a lot of the game. So yeah, LYN actually lets his expansion die in order to get the healing fountain, and then leaves his base without fortified defenses, no pillage, open to a 78 population Night Elf attack. He then attacks the Night Elf base that has 4 Moonwells and a tree. That's a lot of Moonwells. And this looks really bad for LYN. But surprisingly to me, colorful TPs right on top of the Pit Lord that does Howl of Terror on literally every single unit. The Blade is... I think he probably gave invulnerability to Pit Lord. Yeah, he did. Here come all the wisps from the Shamans and the Shadow. Snake Wards are here. There's a bit of Bloodlust. There's some Lightning Shield. Pit Lord still has greater invulnerability and he pops it. That means free cleave attacks. There's still Moonwells here with a lot of health. A lot of mana that can be used. Colorful shoots down the Wind Rider. Grunts are getting some real nice hits. Some of them with Bloodlust and all of them with Scourge Bone Chimes. Blade gets level 4. Picks up critical strike level 2 presumably. The Pit Lord's still getting attacked. Colorful goes from an 80 pop army against 65 or so to 54 against 52, and this does feel like a bit of a blunder, that TP. In fact, I think he could have TP'd below his gold mine and it would probably still be better than this. Nice response, nice decision making though by LYN to stay here, to give up his base, get the fountain, get a nice item and then attack. It is nice decision making. I still feel like he got away with something that maybe he shouldn't have been able to get away with. It's still fairly close. Colorful still 2 versus 1 base. It's the fountain that LYN goes back to now that gives him a staging ground that keeps him in the game. With his healing wave level 2, snakes 2, hex 1. Something you probably don't want to attack into, but he does anyway. Blades isn't here yet. Colorful focusing the snake wards to keep his huntresses alive. We have a mana steal, if I'm not mistaken, on the Shadow. He tries to focus the snake wards again. There's an invulnerability potion. And the keeper squeezes himself in a corner.
있어요. 너무 파고 들어왔죠 키퍼가. 약간 4D로 들어왔거든요 키퍼가. 역으로 시원놀인데 시원은 어디 목표 넘겨나가고 있거든요. 3레벨. 이거를 박 선수가 인구 역전됐어요. GG.
GG. So yeah, I don't think Colorful needed to town portal. So who are these handsome lads casting it? It's actually Loliot, and this I think is Sok. I don't know him, but that's 2 pros, maybe the third one as well. So it would be really interesting to see what they're saying. But yeah, I don't know. Soin. Oh, imagine knowing what they're saying. But of course, you guys know what I'm saying. That's enough for you. But I would like to hear it. All right, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Actually, a strategy also pioneered by Hitman. Pit Lord 3rd with Bloodlust is something he's done against Mass Tier 1. LYN, he got some pretty good items. What did he get from the left side? Talisman? From the left side, Drake. Oh yeah, Rune Bracers, that was shit. The Bone Chimes was good. Not sure what the take from that game as an Orc player. LYN played well, but I feel like Colorful threw insanely hard. Yeah. When you have 80 pop Night Elf with 2/2 upgrades and an Alchemist with 2 rings, I think it's your game to lose. And all that matters is positioning. It's all about positioning at that moment. And he screwed that one up. So here's game number 2. We have Farseer Barracks into Warmill with 1621 food. Let's see what he's going to be doing with this. Popping over to 16 food quickly. It's a bit different than how I played this build today. Oh, he cancelled the extra peon. Okay. Yeah, now he makes the extra. A little bit unwieldy, figuring it out as he goes as well. I actually played a bit around with it today, and I found that it's better to make the war mill on 14 food, although it does cost you a bit of lumber as one of your peons is later. When you make war mill on 14, you can make the headhunter virtually immediately after the grunt. Though I will say I'm not sure how much it matters how quickly the headhunter finishes unless you're spending all of your time creeping. If you're going to harass, the headhunter is usually standing with his hand in his pants anyway, wondering whether he should attack because he's just going to get keeper entangled. But as it stands, we have the opening of Grunt Warmill. Does he pick the item? Ring of Protection +3? Okay. So we have the opening by LYN. Grunt into a Headhunter. He keeps his wolf safe. He gets his camp. And did he make a second burrow? I believe he did. We'll see 21 out of 31 soon enough. Claws of attack. Minus the blood. There's the Headhunter. And so now you're up against Keeper that has level 2. And how do you solve that issue? That's generally an to be avoided issue for the most part. We can see that LYN techs before his second Headhunter production. Now he makes the second. And he's just creeping, power creeping. So let me preface, if this strategy by LYN works consistently, it has unbroken the meta. Because it is so comfortable to be able to creep instead of being forced to perfectly harass and slow down an opponent that can't really be slowed down that well anyway. Well, let's see if it's viable. LYN creeps his Farseer up. He gets level 2.5. And he starts to harass. Finds another Wisp. Claws of attack means only 4 auto attacks are required instead of 5. And then here's the special play coming up. LYN loves this camp, always has loved this playstyle against Elf. Not entirely without risk, but if you get it, if you get this creep, you got a really good item, and you pick up the trolls at the Merc camp. These are really important against Elf. You always see him try for it, which always makes me wonder, why aren't Elves checking more for it? And essentially, Colorful is. He's aware that LYN does this, but he's too late. And LYN didn't do this in a greedy way. Didn't start on the troll 4, then go get the item creep. No, it was immediately the item creep so that he's allowed to leave and go back and he doesn't get creep jacked. Heal solve, run away. Nice open base layout that allows him to get away and get his Farseer healed up from the solve. And Colorful has a neat creep route as well. Green camp, natural, top green camp, heal up, get mana, harass. And then he leaves his Treants and Archer to take the rest of the XP to get level 3. But LYN found a magical item, a wand of Cyclone, and he uses it to get a TP. Really neat. No TP anymore, means hero focus becomes a little bit better lately, and Colorful needs to mind his position on the map a little bit more if he ever wanted to do like a hit and run. With Archers, that's now not really possible anymore. LYN does the same thing. He creeps with just of his units. He's going to try to get level 3 off of that, and he will. He'll probably pick up Dust here. He sold Healing Salve, picks up Dust, trying to find the Keeper, and he's checking in the wrong spot. That's painful. Farseer going to the top position, looking for the Keeper, splitting his wolves, checking natural, nothing here. If only he had known that Keeper was right below him, taking a very important creep camp. And now with the Pandaren Brewmaster, finishing it and getting all of the XP and getting an amazing item, True Shot. LYN finds what happened very belatedly. He scouts the main base, sees Tree of Ages still, not going to tier 3 and making an Ancient of Lore. Looks like there might be an expansion somewhere because he isn't teching yet. And why is Colorful not teching yet? Maybe that's just how much that many archers takes out of you in terms of money. And the tech will be a bit later. Standing around a little bit too much, but he's waiting for the Treants, trying to get his Panda leveled up. This is going to give him roughly level 2.7 Panda. He will then need the small green camp top left, the orange camp in the top, or the orange camp in the mid left. TC was slow. This Warmill Grunt Archer build takes a bit of time to get going. There's the TC, picks up Endurance Aura first. And we see that LYN has gone for the... That chain lightning was a bit weird. Just got one archer before the chain. We can see that LYN went with Raider Walker. He's crept one of his natural expansions, now creeping another expansion spot, the third spot, and is getting a Walker and a Snare upgrade. Farseer picks up another archer, and you can kind of see, if you've been watching my stream today, I have been playing like this today as well. And I had a timestamp to check. At 7:52 game time, my Night Elf opponent that I played against, which was 15 Sway, just got Panda level 3. We can see now a full 50 seconds before that, Panda's 2.8. So that's pretty much where they are going to be getting that Panda 3. And while this is a happenstance that you're looking to avoid, it doesn't seem entirely realistic for you to be able to avoid Panda getting 3 by the time you want to attack them. Having said that, he is still level 2 now, and LYN is keeping him at home with these wolves. I'm reminded of what 15 Sway played. He had earlier Dryads to dispel these little doggies. 752 is coming up, and I'm eager to compare the benchmark of where I was at. At 752, which is in 5 seconds, Keeper was 3, Panda was 3. Tier 3 was 95% of the way done, and he had a Dryad and another Dryad and Bear in production, and Abolish was finished. Colorful is not quite there yet. We do see that LYN went over to a 4th burrow before expanding. He's not rushing the expansion as much. He's focusing more on a 50 food max out as he puts up an expo at 40 plus. So that is different than how I did it. I think I expanded a little bit too early perhaps. And he's getting a few more units first. Berserker kind of counts as a tier 2 unit. There's 2 raiders and a walker, so he's got 4 units here on his 45 army, even as the expansion is only like 30% of the way done. There's the level 3, 40 seconds later. By 752, my Great Hall was 65% of the way done. And I had level 2 and 2.7. So while my TC was higher, my Farseer was lower. And perhaps it is better to prioritize Farseer, as the wolves are quite nice before there's too much Abolish. So perhaps a bit more Farseer creeping. And here's a fight at 9 minutes that there is a nice few set of kills on the Dryads. A marginal fight that Orc has to run away from, and does with Speed Scroll. Even as the Raider that was healing from a healing salve got tagged by the Dryad and cancelled on his salve. And Snare on the Archer gives vision. LYN now knows that his expo is going to finish earlier than whatever Colorful has. He scouted top left, it wasn't grabbed, and he saw this natural. So he knows he just has to hold the bears. So he has a camp here to give his TC level 3. Farseer buys double heal solve. Looking at the mana bar, yeah, he drank a clarity. TC should now be buying 2 healing scrolls to deal with the Panda 3 that's going to be coming in. There's, 3 headhunters here? Maybe he lost 1 or 2? There's 1 healing scroll, and that's it. And he's sending his peons to his expansion. I think they showed endurance level. I'm just going to rewind that for a second. Wait. It's also on the overlay. Endurance level 2. Okay. I think I took Stomp greedily, which forced me to play more around hero focus. Panda gets level 3.5. Scroll the Beast is a dud of an item. Colorful should immediately make another Moonwell so that he can use the gold to go over 50 pop. Focus on the Keeper here. Hello. Alright. There we go. War Stomp. Cyclone on the Panda. And he kills the Keeper. That's a lovely start of a fight. And there's a Mountain Giant. He decided to go with the Giants, not the Bears. Inscrutable Colorful goes with mega fun unit instead of a unit that can give free healing to the heroes that are going to get focused. LYN with an easy win. 800 gold. We'll never know what he would have made after this. But overall, pretty solid game. And he pioneers and shows his new build, which Colorful then loses to.
결승전 세 번째 경기고요. 박준 선수가 2대 0으로.
And here comes the third game. LYN is leading 2-0. LYN is leading 2-0, and now Colorful knows his build. So if LYN repeats it, Colorful may be stronger against it. So let's see how he responds.
문해만 지으면서 이제 홀업을 하는 경우가 많잖아요.
네, 그렇죠.
그러니까 그렇게 맞춰서 했단 말이죠. 워미를 보고서 아 이건 무조건 파셔다. 그랬음에도 이 결과가 이렇게 안 좋았단 말이죠.
제가 또 요즘 해봤는데
네.
생각보다 헌트 빌드 하는 것도
예.
지금 빌드에는 나쁘지 않아요.
그러니까 헌트 아처를 그냥 하더라도 엄청 나쁜 것 같진 않더라고요.
그러니까 헌트 빌드를 하게 되면은
네.
Hunt to build.
그냥 그런트 빌드에는
네.
조금 압박을 좀 더 느낄 수는 있거든요.
네네.
원버로 노상점
원버로.
그런트에는 압박을 느낄 수가 있는데
네.
만약에 이런 식으로 헤드헌터 빌드를 하면은
네.
나이트 엘프가 이렘만 찍고 계속해서 그냥 붙어다니면서 시야 이용해서 사냥 시작하면 후위 공격하고
네.
이런 식으로 플레이도 굉장히 또 좋기 때문에 그런 방법도 있긴 있습니다만 아유 시작됐어요. 네.
작품 하나 있죠.
하지만
지금은 이번 판은 워미를 안 지은 거 같죠, 박준 선수가?
네, 그래서 이건 좀 고민이 되죠.
So here is Lin actually not repeating the same build. He's going for a one burrow grunt deck with Farseer. And this is kind of like Lin saying, if you want to deconstruct a night elf, a good night elf in a best of 5, you cannot become predictable. You cannot play the same thing over and over. Hitman typically approaches a series the same every time, and he believes in the power of his mechanics. I believe in the power of my surprise tactics usually. But Lin is kind of... he can be either one. He goes with the one burrow tech, with the early grunt. Excuse me. This time not with the Warmill follow-up. That Headhunter build that he played on Awesome Leaves, not going to be using it here. So he gets level 1.5, sends a wolf to check, are you doing green spot into expansion? You're not. Okay, then I know where you are. You're doing your small green camp. That one is not worth harassing, so I'm going to take the second turtle. I like that. I like that. It's not worth harassing going that far for a small camp that they can get anyway. So now we also see why the grunt is useful. Without the grunt, he cannot send one wolf to scout. The grunt allows him to separate a wolf and still get this camp. So he gets his level 2 Farseer when Keeper is 2.2. That's really solid. And he's removed one of the small greens that Keeper typically wants to get in order to get their quest of level 3 to become a dream. No, a realized dream. No. One burrow tech is not dangerous if you peon scout with blade or if you go Farseer. What happened for me against Sonic today? Sorry, my nose is getting really stuck, so I sound more Kermit than usual. But what happened for me against Sonic today, where he got like 4 peons, still won anyway, by the way, lol. But where he got 4 peons, it's because I lost sight of where Keeper was. That shouldn't happen. And it doesn't happen when you're well prepared. Okay, 1 archer down. Entangle on the grunt. And there's the second entangle. That's a lot of mana lost. Lin is going to try to deny it. Keeper's level 2.4. Can Lin deny it? And he does not. Keeper 2.6. Second archer under attack. He has chain lightning. He could kill it. And he does. It's a lot of mana. 240 mana for 2 archers. But rather kill him than not kill him. So that's a pretty solid start. Keeper's not level 3. Out of health and mana for the most part. And you killed 2 archers. All because the mid creeps, the turtles, were easy XP. TC, second. We have 1 grunt, I think. And then he went into headhunters again. The grunt died. The headhunters are late. That's a nice surround. Well done. That was not an easy surround. And he calls it. Is he gonna make wolves and try to kill an archer? He could kill another one, maybe. In fact, he may even be able to get away. Oops, it was open from below. And the items here on the Keeper are very impactful. Another entangle baited. Ring of Protection gauntlets. If he had claws, he wouldn't have had to spend another entangle. That's why damage is the best. Clarity, heal solve, and picks up his dust again. TC comes out. I like getting that TC a bit quicker this time. Let's see how he uses it. He's got just the 2 headhunters for creeping. The grunt was for early game creeping, headhunters for TC creeping. And again, the Raider Walkers. No shamans with FSTC, no sir. You become too vulnerable to dryads when you go both shaman and Farseer TC. So Raider Walker. Let's look at the timings of everything, of the expansion. We now know roughly you can get Panda 3 by 7:30, whatever. But it's Demon Hunter first this time. He feels that part of the reason maybe why he lost is that his Panda 3 didn't do enough. And he goes with Demon Hunter instead. Keeper still needed to get level 3. And isn't yet when Orc shows up. Chain Lightning steals the Huntsman. He damn well knows how close Keeper must be to level 3. So he spends a Chain Lightning on the Huntsman. Sends an FSTC with Dust to chase an Archer. Uses Dust, gets another. That's how many Archers by now? A lot. A lot of Night Alpha. But that was a bit of chasing a rabbit. And that didn't work out. He got healed by the Moonwell. And we now see double lore and Tree of Ages, so no tier 3. There was a peon on the expansion. Colorful found it and killed it. He is aware of the expansion play that happened last game and dealt with that. I don't think LYN wanted to anyway at that time yet, but who knows, maybe he did. And he creeps center. He sends another peon, if I'm not mistaken. I see something slow moving to the expo. TC picks up healing salve, a healing scroll, which is really nice. We have Wolves level 2. He sends one to the expo to attack the keeper. And continues creeping. Didn't pick his TC ability yet, because it could be, what? It could be talents, he's thinking? Finally level 3. Yeah, Night Elf base layouts is really important. Usually you want about 4 gaps in between the 2 Moonwells, and you want to have 2 top, 2 bot. Create a cavity for lures, so you can pull back, stop the gap with your double hero, and put all your range behind it. But you can, it's not so stuck with just 1 gap that you can become completely messed up by an ensnare on a unit that's stuck inside the wall. So never a 1 gap opening, but more. So 6 Dryads in production. Interesting. Keeper inting his TP away. Nice pickup. Direct result of Colorful's desire to cancel Expo over and over. And it's 834, which is interesting because by 834, Panda was level 3. You're not going to tell me that a demon level 1 to 2 is better than a Panda 3. But that's what Colorful believes in. He's making his Dryads, he's making his demon. And there comes the expansion again. Kodobeast comes out. TC creeps to, I think this gives him level 2.99. What's he getting? Invul, heal scroll. 18 seconds the next heal scroll. And it's a full Dryad all-in actually by Colorful. But this is bad. You know, the first time I watched this game, I wasn't entirely aware of how bad Colorful messed up here. You get hope, you see an orc doing well against an elf, but then you see, hey, you're maxed out, mass Dryad, and you have 800 gold in the bank. You then buy a TP and staff and heal pot to make yourself feel good that you're spending your money, but you still have 500 gold. Heal scroll still 250, so it's not an optimized all-in. There could have been a counter expansion, and he wouldn't have sacrificed a single unit production. Or he could have gone tier 3, and it wouldn't have cost him a single unit. And had he done that, then there could be bears coming up after this. As it stands, it's just Dryads, but let's look at this fight. Heal scroll available for the keeper. He also has staff on demon. Now he needs to give TP to keeper, otherwise he can't get out. War stomp on a single archer. Bringing peons in is neat. LYN's expansion isn't finished. LYN doesn't have heal scroll anymore. Good saving on the units. Keeper still has a lot of mana. There's no dispel, so he should definitely be casting some abilities. Demon drops low, gets chained, even though he has TP. Kind of a blunder. Yeah, why is it always got to be massive blunders by Elf when Orc wins? Just massive blunders. Why can't it just be on their own strength? Yikes. Yeah, losing Demon with TP and not going tier 3 is not good. It's never, wow, Elf played so good and made no mistakes. But Orc's micro and strategy was so good that they won. Still, it is still pretty sick to win 3-0. Like, I can't diminish that just because of that mistake. But I think it was maybe a mistake to switch to Demon as well. Demon is not the scariest panda. Like, you summon your wolves, you do one stomp and you're done. That's fine. He burns, that's fine. Fire Breath way more scary. Like, you could even go evasion 2 here. But then you're admitting that you took a wrong hero if you do that. Orc is now mining. He's got a TP but no heal scroll. Maybe because there was no heal scroll? I don't know. Gets a bunch of wisps, gets a dryad. And it's just a hit and run attack. Maybe kill one Moonwell, get out. No, he's gonna invul, focus demon, stomp it, and snare it. Force a TP out of him. How do you like that? And then just run. He has a sentry there. That raider's a bit low. Seen too much war. Nice Headhunter focus fire. You can see that he remade the Headhunters. But I mean, normally there should be bears now. Not gonna lie. And GG. Yeah, that was not as good by Elf, but yeah, wonderful game by LYN. Nice series. Let's see what our friends have to say about it.
너무
저프에
많아요.
나이안도 있고요. 확실히 뭐 이제 포커스 에이설이 그러기 때문에
GG.
GG. 자 이렇게 돼서 박준
They think it's
선수가
a GG.
3대 0으로
무패.
우승을 차지합니다.
I think they have a point. Yeah, nice play by LYN. But I think the element of surprise remains the key against Elf. I still don't see a clear way to repeatedly win.